Ever heard of these things called fan games? Like the name suggests, there are games made by fans of a certain gaming franchise. Some of them are unfinished, completely abandoned, or just not good in general. However, there are some fan games that are absolutely amazing. There are passion projects like completely remaking Sonic 06 in the Unity game engine in order to make it playable, or even creating brand new games with a new story. Now, in terms of legality, fan games are, well, a little bit problematic. You are using characters or places that somebody else created after all, just to make something different. You can't necessarily argue that your fan game is fair use, so you are just left with hoping that the company the characters belong to doesn't sue you. However, companies don't really seem to care if you make a fan game. As long as you don't try to make money with the game, you're fine. Heck, Sega even compliments the people behind fan games, even hiring some of the creators if they show potential. Now, despite fan games being fine as long as you don't try to sell them, there is one company that doesn't really care about the game being free or not. That company, what a surprise, is Nintendo. Over the years, Daddy Nintendo has shut down a large amount of fan games. Some good, some bad. It was quite apparent that Nintendo really liked to flex their legal muscles. Sometimes, however, if a company neglects a game in one of their franchises, it's up to the fans to do something. After the release of Metroid Other M in 2010, Nintendo's answer to the controversy that the game caused was a drought period. Now, that doesn't sound too bad. They need some time to make a new game that gets people back on track. So, how much time did they need? Well, if you guessed like 1 or 2 years, you're mistaken. They waited 6 entire years to release their next big hit that, after that much time, would definitely make Metroid great again. Federation Force. They released a spin-off of the Prime trilogy. I mean, admittedly, the game wasn't that bad. It was passable at the very least. It didn't really end the controversy, some people say that it was released at the wrong time, but at least it showed that Nintendo still acknowledged the existence of the series. Seeing that the franchise had gone stale in these 6 years, a man named Milton Guasti, or Dr. M64 as he was known online, decided he would make a game that the franchise deserved. Metroid 2, released on the Game Boy in 1991, desperately needed a remake. So he decided to remake the game and give it an overhaul like Zero Mission did for the original Metroid. Since there were multiple projects that tried to remake the game, he decided to name his game AM2R, short for Another Metroid 2 Remake. Shortly after released the game in 2016, Nintendo issued a DMCA takedown notice and Dr. M64 was forced to stop working on the game and take it off the internet. Now, if there's something that everyone knows about the internet, then it's that everything that's on there will stay there. Some people that had the game downloaded started to work on a launcher that would make updating the game easier. They also put in the widescreen mode, recreated a lot of sprites for enemies and other things, translated the game into other languages, and even rearranged the music. If you want to play the game for yourself, I'll link the launcher in the description. You'll also need a zip file for version 1.1 of the game, but I'm not going to link that. If you have trouble with installing the game, there are some YouTube tutorials for that. 1 year later, in 2017, Nintendo released Metroid Samus Returns, which was their own remake of Metroid 2. I won't be going into detail on this game in this video though. So, now that I've given you the backstory, let's actually play the game. We start the game with a cutscene that gives us some important information. These jellyfish-like creatures called metroids are starting to become a threat to the galaxy. So in order to stop this threat, the Galactic Federation sends the bounty hunter Samus Aran, the main character of the franchise, to the Metroid homeworld of planet SR388. Something that the game doesn't tell you here is that there originally was a research team that was sent to this planet. However, they went missing and the Federation decided to send in a rescue team which, well, also went missing. Arriving on the surface, our goal is to eliminate all the Metroids on the planet and maybe even find out what happened to the teams that were sent here. We descend into the caverns below and reach this part right here. Right now we can only go left because the way on the right is blocked further into the cave. So we go left, take out some enemies and get to this red door. Unlike the blue doors that we will see later, these can't be opened with our beam. Since it's our only other weapon, we shoot a missile at it and the door opens up. Right behind it is a save station, which doubles as a recharging station in this game. Trust me, you'll always be happy to see one of those, especially after a long and tiresome crawl through a difficult area. We enter the next room and expertly platform across the lava. Pretend you didn't see any of that. Now your first question might be, what is this? This is an Alpha Metroid, the second step in the Metroid lifecycle. As for the second question, it might be, what language even is this? I can't read this. So it turns out that I forgot to switch the game's language back to English before I started recording. I'll just give you a brief rundown of what the text says. Alpha Metroids have gained an immunity to cold temperatures and they also have missile-resistant skin. The only weak spot is this green membrane that we immediately start to shoot at. And the Metroid counter is at 0. Mission accomplished. Well, that counter is at 0. This is the actual global counter, according to which there are still 46 Metroids remaining. Then we get a little earthquake and the lava in the previous room has been drained. This means that we are now able to go back to this room from before and take the way on the right side this time. Ah, neat. We traverse further with the way down being blocked by lava once again. So we go up and get to this room. Huh, no boss fight? Okay. We reach this point that we can't get past, so we take a different way and end up here. This is the Golden Temple, a structure built by an alien race called the Chozo. Back when Samus still was a kid, her home was destroyed by space pirates and both of her parents were killed by some space dragon. She ended up getting raised by some Chozo who found her and infused her with their DNA so that she could use Chozo gear like her iconic power suit. In fact, every item in any Metroid game, well, at least most of them, were created by the Chozo. Huh? I thought I set the game to English. Well, whatever. We explore the ruins for a while and find the bombs. Now we could theoretically go back to that place where we couldn't progress before, but let's keep exploring for a while. We find an energy tank, which increases our maximum health, and this cool thing called the charge beam. We get a second energy tank, go down this hole and find a spider wall, which allows us to stick to pretty much any solid surface. Now, we could just go up the intended way, but why do that when you can wall jump? With the help of the spider ball, we find another alpha and finally go back here where we can use our bombs to proceed. Looks like a shortcut to get back. Wait a second. I could have just done this. Ah, yeah, alright. My presence here is completely invalidated now. Now we enter the breeding grounds, a place with health-draining plants and 4 more alphas to exterminate. Among these regular alphas, there is a slightly advanced version with longer legs and the ability to dodge my missiles. Well, we're done here. Let's go back and... Oh, come on, now there's a boss here! This is the Ancient Guardian, an original boss that was created for this game. The different colored attacks are meant to teach you how to dodge in different ways. Green, stay in the middle. Purple, crouch or use the morph ball. Blue, move to the side. The arena gradually gets smaller, making it harder for you to dodge his attacks. Shoot him enough times and you will go down pretty quickly. After we defeat him, the lava blocking our way before has receded and we can go deeper. Then we enter this corridor. These tubes in the ground are usually supposed to spawn enemies, but they don't seem to do that for some reason. Well, whatever. Let's just go in. Oh, Jesus! Normally, the game teases the Metroid encounter by showing you their shell, but you see the shell before the fight. Here, it's afterwards. Well, whatever. We enter a new area, the Hydro Station, or as the title card says, Wasserwerk. Oh, come on. Why does it have to be broken? Oh, at least this one works. So we take a dip into the water, destroy this... I don't know. What is this? Well, anyway, we take out some fans and end up draining the water level. Shh, be quiet. Gotcha. Some rooms further in, we find this Chozo statue. The power-up seems to be missing though. Oh god, which one is the real one? Well, guess there's only one way to find out. And we got our first suit upgrade. Like the description says, the Varia suit reduces damage by 50%. It also allows you to go into hot rooms without taking damage, but I don't know if these exist in this game. Moving on, we find another alpha. Now they have a tackle. By the way, this is a good opportunity to talk about the Metroid AI in this game. It works for the most part, but especially alphas are quite annoying. Whenever you jump, they just magically move to wherever you would be, and you have pretty much no time at all to evade. Well, even more rooms deeper in, we find the high jump boots, which allow you to do high jumps. Regular jumps, but on steroids. Having done enough inside the facility, we go back outside, climb onto the top, and jump into a hole. Oh, neat. A safe station. This smells like an upcoming boss fight. Yep, I knew it. So now we have to fight this guy called Arachnus. The gimmick of this fight is quite simple. Shooting with your missiles until he becomes a ball and rolls towards you. Place bombs in his way to catapult him into these electrical outlets. Do this 3 times and you'll win. After defeat, he drops the spring ball, which allows you to jump in morph ball mode. A great alternative to using bombs. Now all that's left is to take out the remaining Metroids in this area. We also stumble across another breeding zone. Don't forget to pick up this hidden energy tank, by the way. Some alphas later, and all Metroids in the area are gone. Spoke too soon, I guess. At first glance, Gammas might be worse than Alphas. Their AI is still not perfect, they have this laser, their hitbox is larger, and their weak spot is harder to reach. They're not that bad though. If you get a good spot underneath them and get a rhythm going, you can juggle them with missiles until they die. Alternatively, you can do what I'm currently doing and just walk up to their weak point and don't care about taking damage at all. We leave the area, go to this lovely traversal point, and pick up this hidden missile expansion. We go further into the caves and eventually reach the outside of the industrial complex. There's the sand-looking stuff that you can remove in order to uncover buried items and a buried red door. And we got a space jump. This lets you jump infinitely. Neat. Well, I'll be going then and— oh god, please kill it! Whew, that sure was something. Wait, why are you not dead yet? And he's gone for real. Back to exterminating Metroids, I guess. On our way through the industrial complex, we pick up the speed booster, yay! Kill some alphas and gammas, and come across this room where we have to control one of these robots that we encountered in both the hydro station and the complex. We open up the ground, jump into this hole, and get the super missiles. These do the same amount of damage as 5 regular missiles, so you could just say they're normal missiles, but super. This means that we could now theoretically take out an alpha with only 2 hits, because they only sustain 10 missiles before they die. We go back to this spot, use the soups to open up a hole in the ground, and enter this overgrown area with even more Metroids to fight. Oh, why hello there. Now that all Metroids in the area have been exterminated, we backtrack and get to this strange looking place. Guys? I think we might have found the research team. Then these 2 alphas show up, we take them down, and we backtrack again. Now we can go into this mine-like area where we have to drive one of these excavator things around. Aside from more Metroids to brutally erase from our counter, we also find this corpse whose log entry can be read. Backtracking time. Now we enter this hot cave with this gigantic metallic structure called the Turm. Looks like somebody sabotaged the lights. I'll just go back to electrical and fix it. Yeah, okay, that might not have been a good idea. The second the power is back on, everything in here tries to kill us. Well, doesn't matter. Let's just— please end my suffering. So this is the tester, a literal bullet hell. It's a weapon testing machine and the way it fights really goes to show that. I especially hate this one where he shoots these blue projectiles which make it really hard to move at all. During the fight we have to shoot off these armor platings and then hit the center with the wave beam. There we go. We move on, pick up the plasma beam which goes through enemies and resume our Metroid hunt. Yep, that definitely looks like a Metroid room. This is bad. There's nothing that can describe how much I hate Zetas. It's not because the attacks are annoying, but rather because of how small the weak point is. I mean, seriously, this is the smallest weak point out of all Metroid evolutions in the entire game, and the way the Zetas move makes things even more difficult. Well, some struggling and a dead Zeta later, we move on to eliminate the other Metroids in the area. Once the lava drains, a hidden door is revealed at the bottom of the tower. Can these doors open faster? Please, I have to go somewhere. Oh, cool, power bombs. Now we can go this way. Are you kidding me? Oh, come on! A boss fight during the escape? Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out! Hurry up! Alright. Don't know how I survived that. Well, let's just take it for granted. Now that we have the power bombs, we can go down here and enter the next area. Do you like water movement? Neither do I! This is the distribution center. It distributes electricity to the other chosen facilities on the planet. It contains these strange brain-looking enemies, lots of saw blades, a Zeta, and these tubes which shoot us across the facility. Some of the doors are powered down and we need to shove these power cells into these things to power them. By the way, don't shoot them unless there are enemies on the screen, otherwise you won't be able to defend yourself for a while. If shot by your beam, the cells explodes and leave this blast zone where everything caught in it gets powered down. This also counts for your arm cannon. So, no missiles or beam for you. Moving on, we obtain a screw attack, which turns our spin jump into immediate death, enter this room which contains 5 goddamn alphas, and enter this room, which has a whole bunch of these tubes. These take us back to previous areas like the Golden Temple, the Industrial Complex and the Tower. There's also this tube, which leads us to an area where we have to be clever with our shots as these walls disable our weapons. Now we have the gravity suit, which reduces damage even more, makes us immune to the walls from before, and allows us to move in the water the same way we would on land. Moving into the lower part of the distribution center, we take out 2 more gammas, which are located in the same room by the way, go through this suspicious room, and enter this tube which leads us to the final upgrade in the game, the ice beam. As the name suggests, it freezes enemies, which we immediately use to take care of this wall thing. Yeah, okay, I kinda was expecting that. Just shoot the tubes for passive damage, freeze and shatter the serpent's body parts, and watch out for the speed boost. Once that's done, we can move even deeper into the cave. Only 1 Metroid in the area? That must be a new evolution. Nope, just an alpha. Wait a second, the lava moved up? Oh, the ceiling's open now. Wait a second, why do I hear gunshots? Looks like we found the rescue team. So we actually do get another evolution. The Omega Metroids are the next step after the Zetas, but I still find them to be easier. Their weak point has gotten bigger again and their attacks are just easier to avoid. As for what they can do, is jumping low, jumping high and slamming to the ground, do a small core swipe, and
Mathematik, Hans Götze Flammenwerfer!
However, when they jump, a small part of their back opens up, revealing a second weak spot. It's hard to hit, but if you do, you'll deal way more damage. Try to save your super missiles for this, as nailing a shot with them equipped will deal massive damage. Once the Omega is dead, we're able to move down further, only to go back up again and end up in this place. I hereby welcome you to the Nest, a gauntlet of 3 Omegas that you need to defeat in order to progress. Okay, 1 down, 2 more to go. Are you serious? I'm almost done with the game and haven't died a single time. And now right before the end, I die. Alright, you asked for it. Finally, this was seriously humiliating. With 1 Metroid remaining on the counter, we exit the nest and get to this cave filled with waterfalls. There are no enemies or pickups, just you and the environment. You're given time to take a breather and mentally prepare yourself as you make your way towards the last living member of a species. Or at least that would be the case if the music from the nest wasn't still playing. We end up in this gigantic cave with what seems to be the ruins of an ancient city in the background. Here we are, the final area. The music and the grey walls of this place immediately set the tone for this final undertaking. By the way, there is this tube that brings you back to the hydro station in case you still have some things to do. We're good though, so we just go back. Whoa, someone must have been real mad, huh? What's this? Oh come on, I can't even read this. Well, anyway, we blast a hole through this wall, head onto this area, and... well, looks like we forgot one Metroid evolution. The game tells us about this place being a genetics lab, and the first Metroid lava bursts out of the background. These guys can latch onto you and drain your energy. If that happens, go into mothball mode and place a bomb. That should get them off of you. In order to take them out, shoot them with your ice beam and follow that up with either 5 missiles or 1 super missile. Once all of them are down, only 1 remains. Sounds like someone's pissed. Alright, this is it. Beyond this hole is a point of no return. Our job here is almost done, so we take the plunge and come face to face with the game's final boss. Fighting the Queen is challenging, but also very simple. Whenever the scales on her head stop flashing, she is vulnerable to missiles. Her primary forms of attacking consist of trying to headbutt you and vomiting these strange things that can be shot in order to replenish ammo. Once the Queen takes a certain amount of damage, she will shoot a fireball into the wall behind you, and the fight turns to a mixture of running away from the Queen and dodging her attacks whilst dishing out damage yourself. Eventually we enter the third phase, which puts us into another corner. Now the Queen adds a new attack to our arsenal, being the acid attack that the Zetas used. After enough hits, we are chased out of the facility and the Queen tries to eat us whole. Quite a stupid decision considering that we have power bombs with us. My apologies, that had to be done. We run back through the facility, enter the room that the Queen was guarding, and find this egg. A Metroid hatches out of the egg and, with Samus being the first thing it sees, assumes that she's his mother. Not wanting to kill a defenseless infant, Samus decides to take the baby with her and we slowly climb back up to the planet's surface. And with that, we have finished AM2R. It's a great game, and I'd even go as far as to say that it is a better remake than Samus Returns. Sure, that game set new standards for the franchise, but in the end, I just think that this game did things better, you know? During a way back up to the surface, we got this prompt which would have told us the contents of that encrypted message from the lab. I decided against putting this in here because I wanted to make a video about Metroid Dread at some point in my career where I will then include this information. Now, with all of that said, have a good day, lads. Peace out.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.